Y'all don't tell me it's happening now. Don't tell me she's gone now. I was not expecting this for like a couple chapters. Wait a second. Scott did it. Scott is guilty. Scott's guilty. It's getting frisky, y'all. If you're under 18, get out. Did it with your wife right after doing it with your mistress, and I don't think he took a shower. Like, that's dirty. But anyway. Surprise. I swear I'm doing bonus videos so often these days, but I just be wanting to see y'all. Like, that's really all it is. Like, I just love you. Like, I'm kind of obsessed with you. Anyway, welcome back to my channel, you guys. Welcome back. In today's video, we are going to be doing another book reading, as you've seen from the title. Y'all, I could not stop thinking about the last one that we did because it was so messy, so juicy, so disrespectful. Like, I could not stop thinking about that book. And I was like, okay, I'm definitely reading another chapter this week. I thought about reading and then pretending like I didn't read it, but no. Because my reactions, I feel like, need to be genuine for this because this is messy, so that means we get a bonus video this week, so I'm excited. We're on chapter 3, so it's gonna be, I don't know, I'm scared. Anyway, let's just get into it. Okay, so chapter 3 is in Sarah's point of view. I'm poring over case files, the papers shifting and falling like the snow of a freshly plunged avalanche. I had planned to go into the office for a few hours to prep for the week, but here I am sipping at my 12-hour-old coffee with oil circles floating on top to remind me of its age. My corner office is on the 14th floor, which is as high as one can get in DC without erecting a phallus taller than Mr. Washington's. It has a floor-to-ceiling windows and is one of the biggest in the firm, and no one would contest as to why I was given it. With several high-profile cases and the most case wins out of any attorney here, I more than earned my place as a named partner at Williamson and Morgan. Okay. The tips of my fingers rub my forehead, slowly massaging my temples as if to conjure myself back into a state of peace and normalcy. I slide my reading glasses off and drop them onto my desk with a resounding crash to punctuate my frustration. The clock on my phone reads 8:04 p.m. An exasperated huff exits my mouth to let the non-existent audience in my office know how taxed I am. I send a quick text to Adam. Sorry, I really wanted to be with you today. I miss you. I drop the phone back on the desk. Grabbing the fork from on top of the styrofoam container, I stab it into the Chinese food that has been sitting out for a few days. Oh my god, Chinese food sounds so... That's what I'm having for dinner. Chinese food. Sorry, but that sounds good. I take a couple of quick bites, then slide the whole thing in the garbage can. My hair is pulled into a bun at the nape of my neck, every strand perfectly in place, even though I've been working for the past 13 hours. I adjust my high-end black blouse and brush off my tailored skirt. I'm struggling today, y'all. I straighten my desk, which is in complete disarray and not typically how I leave my life. With court dates and depositions looming over me, a little mess is going to have to do. I look out the window of my office, admiring the lights of the city, the cars moving in unison, and people out and about enjoying their last few hours of the weekend. Anne, are you still here? I call out. The door of my office opens and my sweet-looking assistant pops her head in. She's a petite woman with shoulder-length brown hair, although she doesn't turn heads. She's pretty in a modest way. Her eyes, while faint, light up and she smiles at me, ready and eager to please. While I am the only other person in the office right now, it is not uncommon for Anne to scramble into work when she starts to see me sending work emails. Yes, Miss Morgan. I drop my hands on my desk and give her a sympathetic big smile. And how many times do I have to tell you? Just because I work ridiculously long hours doesn't mean you have to. And what's with the Mrs. Morgan? Sorry, Mrs. She begins and stops as I put my hand up and stand. I approach Anne. The office has plush carpeting, which I picked out myself as it feels incredibly soft beneath my bare feet. I made sure to decorate so it had a homey feel with a plush couch and a recliner, a coffee table, pillows, a bookcase stuffed with books for both work and pleasure, and beautiful artwork on the walls. The office is my home away from home, as I've spent more time here the past 8 years than I have at my actual home. I feel like, not me saying Atlas, girl, did Adam say that in the last chapter about the cabin? I feel like he did, but I could be wrong about that. I even got a treadmill for it, which sits in the corner facing the Washington Monument. I reach Anne and put a hand on her shoulder. "And you have worked for me for 5 years. We eat lunch together every Friday. We occasionally grab drinks after work. You travel with me for business. You've been to my house on countless occasions. You're my friend first and my employee second. Please, for the love of God, never call me Mrs. Morgan again." Y'all, how crazy would it be if her assistant Anne was the one that was sleeping with her husband? That would have been a messy plot line. But anyway, Anne shakes her head and smiles. She slides past me and slumps into the couch, taking a loud load off. "Oh, I'm sorry. I've been pulling double duty for Bob since his last assistant quit. He demands that I call him Mr. Filler. It's just become a force of habit." She rubs her brow. I take a seat next to Anne. I put my bare feet up on the coffee table and let out a sigh and pull my hair loose from its tight bun. Anne kicks her heels off and puts her feet up on the table too. We share a look of solidarity and understanding. Although she and I are different in nearly every way, we are one and the same. Two women trying to make it in a man's world. And they ate. We work twice as hard as our male counterparts to make it just an inch ahead of them. Don't even get me started on that. That's because Mr. Miller is an asshole. I'll make sure he has a new assistant by the end of the week, and if the new assistant doesn't work out, I'll make sure he doesn't work out here either. I say with a laugh, although I'm completely serious. Bob is a decent attorney, but he has a huge ego and no respect for anyone else except for those that have more money or more power than him. Thanks, Sarah. You're too good to me. No, you're too good to me. You know who's not too good for anyone? Anne asks. Who? Bob. We both laugh and it feels good. I've had my head buried in case files forever. I miss this. I miss just hanging out without the weight of the world on my shoulders or someone else's life and future in my hands. Oh, I wanted to show you these. Anne pulls out her phone. She opens her phone app and flicks her finger across the screen a few times. I take the phone from her and look at each photo. A man crossing the street, a woman walking up the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, a falcon swooping low over a lake, a child looking up at the Washington Memorial. These are beautiful, Anne. You have such a good eye, I say, admiring each picture. Thank you. Just a little hobby of mine. It should be more than a hobby. You're very talented. She blushes and her lips press firmly together as I hand her back her phone. Y'all, okay, what if Sarah is gonna have Anne follow her husband and like catch him cheating or something? Like, what if? Because that, I feel like that was just really random. Like, why else would they put that in there? I feel like why else would they put that in there unless it's gonna come back full circle? Because that was so random. I feel like that's, I'm calling it right now. My phone vibrates. I stand up and walk to my desk, quickly texting Adam back. I miss him. I miss us. We exchange a few more texts, and when I learn he'll be coming back late, it's decided. Let's go out for some drinks, I say. Are you sure? You have to reason is from an employee's stance who also wants the best for me. Yes, I'm entirely sure. I grin. Anne claps her hands together. I'll call us an Uber. She gets up, slides her heels back on, and walks toward my office doors with a little bounce in her step. And that's chapter 3, you guys. It was a cute chapter, but it wasn't quite hitting all the spots that I needed it to hit. So we're probably gonna go into chapter 4, which is Adam's chapter. Okay, I think we're gonna do chapter 4 too. It's Adam's chapter, so I feel like it'll be juicy, but also it's not that long. So let's do it. Chapter 4. The slam of a car door wakes me from my slumber. It's pitch black inside and outside, and I don't have the slightest clue how my night ended with Kelly, but I assume it was with more rough sex since my... See, Adam be doing a lot. I can't even read it. Let's run it back. But I assume it was with more rough sex since my COCK feels like it's been dragged along a slab of pavement. Okay. I glance at the clock on the nightstand, and in large red illuminating digits it reads 12:15 a.m. Fuck, I whisper. I should have been home with Sarah by now. I rub my hands over my forehead and down my face, trying to massage the nerves back to life. How the hell did I get this bad? I can't see more than a few inches in front of my face, but I can feel Kelly next to me. I can always feel her next to me. I scooch closer to her, running my hand along her cheek. She's dead asleep. I whisper her name, trying to stir her, but the scotch has a stronger pull on her than it did me. Kelly, I whisper a little louder, but she doesn't move. Y'all, don't tell me it's happening now. Don't tell me she's gone now. I was not expecting this for like a couple chapters. Wait a second. The continuous vibration and ding of her phone distracts me from her, but I've decided that if she's this tired, then I want her to sleep. I give her a gentle kiss on her cheek and swivel myself off my side of the bed without a sound. I tiptoe to her side of the bed and take her phone off the nightstand. I step out of the room, meaning only to silence it so it doesn't disturb her, but the text message catches my eye. I look back into the dark room and then at the phone. I type 4357 into the passcode. The most recent text is from a girl named Jessie. It reads, "I'm sorry." I scroll past Jessie's most recent text to those before it. They're all from Scott, her husband. I read them in order, starting from the earliest at 10:17 p.m. I wish you would come home to me. Why does it have to be like this? Babe, will you please answer me? I love you so fucking much. Why can't you get that? I didn't mean any of it. You have to believe me. It won't happen again, I promise. Please tell me where you're at. If you would just answer, I would leave you alone tonight. F you, you effing dumb ass. BITCH. You effing lied to me. You're not still at work. I just called the cafe. When I find you, you'll be begging me for last night's ordeal rather than what I have in store for you, you worthless. BITCH. See, I was feeling bad for Scott for a second. I was feeling bad for Scott because I was like, ill, cheaters. But Scott is psycho. Scott is crazy. Obviously, her husband is abusive. So I will cut Kelly some slack. I'll cut her some slack. Also, it's a Sunday and it's like noon. So if you hear that outside, I'm so sorry. Just ignore the people. They're living their lives. My muscles clench up in anger, but I keep scrolling anyway. This is her business, and she's never wanted me to be involved, but I would kill this piece of shit at this moment if I had the chance. Too late, you're a effing memory now. That's the final text message from Scott at 11:45. Scott did it. Scott did it. Scott did it. Scott did it. Scott is guilty. Scott's guilty. Too late, you're an effing memory now. Scott did it. He did it. Let me calm down. That's the final text from Scott at 11:45 p.m. Jesus Christ, what an effing psycho. I want to pick her up out of that bed and hold her close and reassure her that we're not all pieces of shit like her husband. wake up for me immediately, but she doesn't stir. And when she doesn't, I take my hand away. I want to be there for her in every type of way, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I wipe my wet hand against my pants and quietly walk out of the room. Oh my god, you guys, I feel like this is all gonna be coming back around full circle. I'm not as focused. See, okay, so when he touched her and he said it was wetter than usual, I feel like that's because it was blood, and then he just wiped it on his pants, and I feel like that's gonna be like evidence later. Maybe I'm thinking too much, but I feel like he's going to jail. Outside, I don't turn on any lights and I allow my eyes to adjust as best they can in the dark. The coals from the fireplace help me find my way around the living room, and the bearskin rug lets me know when I'm outside the open concept living room. The embers provide a soft glow as I creep my feet along the hardwood floor. I cross the kitchen, keeping my balance with the granite countertops. The dull light of a pale moon provides a dismal backdrop to the front glass facade of the house. I find a pad of paper and a pen and write, "Kelly, it's you. It hasn't always been you, but it will always be you. Aren't you married?" See, I really can't stand him. Like, I'm trying to understand. Like, I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get the vibes, but what are you saying? What are you saying? I feel like that's also going to be evidence, but let me calm down. You're the words to a story I've been trying to write my whole life, and tonight I determined the ending. Love you, love me, Adam. P.S. The maid will be here at 9 a.m. Please make sure you're gone before then. I leave the note on the counter and walk to the entrance, picking up my items and gently shutting the door behind me. I look down at my phone before getting into my black Range Rover. It's 12:30 a.m. Shit, I'm half tempted to stay with Kelly, but I promised Sarah I would come home tonight, and although I won't get in until nearly 2 a.m. at least, I'll wake up next to her. More than an hour later, I pull up to our home nestled in the Kaloroma neighborhood of DC. The large brick Tudor house with 6 bedrooms and 3.5 baths is much too large for just Sarah and me, and a bit too ostentatious for my blood. But Sarah fell in love with it the moment she laid her eyes on it. It was the expansive fenced backyard and sending oversized terrace that made her swoon. I thought for sure that she would pick out such a large house. It was because she had changed her mind about starting a family. We turned 2 of the bedrooms into offices, one for her and one for me. Our 3rd bedroom was converted into a library study, a 4th into a gym, and the 5th into a guest room. She hasn't changed her mind. I pull into the courtyard next to Sarah's matching white Range Rover. Entering the house, I pass through the grand foyer with marble flooring, past the sweeping staircase, and into the gourmet kitchen. I place my messenger bag on the counter and switch on a light. I get a bottle of water from the fridge and go to the master suite on the 2nd floor. All the lights are off in our bedroom except for a lamp on Sarah's side of the bed. I push open the door and find her sleeping heavily on her stomach, completely relaxed. She's wearing a thin black tank top and black lace thong panties, not her typical nighttime attire. I expected to see her in a nightgown. Is she teasing me? Does she want me? Or did she just pass out from one too many vodka sodas, her drink of choice? Her silk-like blonde hair is damp and is pulled back into a low ponytail, every strand neatly in place. Even when she sleeps, she's perfectly pulled together. My eyes follow the curve of her back and the smoothness of her toned ass down her sculpted legs. Over the years, she may have neglected me, but she never ignored that body of hers. She stirs a little, but doesn't wake up. By my side of the bed, I shuffle off my pants and shirt. My eyes never leave her. She makes me so goddamn miserable, but so blissful at the same time. I effing hate her as much as I love her. Does she know? Does she care? What am I to her? I drop my watch on the nightstand a little too hard. a small smile. She glances at the alarm clock on the nightstand. 1:45 a.m. She looks back at me but says nothing of my late arrival home. Her eyes beckon me. I know, I'm sorry I'm late. I slide into bed beside her. Don't be, she whispers, patting the spot next to her. I scoot closer, planting a kiss on her cheek. She makes a cooing sound. I've missed you, I say. She looks up at me as I pull her close, holding her tightly. I missed you too. I kiss her forehead. She pushes closer into me, entangling her legs in mine and resting her head on my bare chest. She runs her fingers up and down my abs. Okay. How was work? Long, she says. The silence stretches and I wonder what it is that she's thinking. Is she mulling over case files in her head? Is she thinking about me? About us? Can she see the cracks in her marriage? Does she want to fix them or keep pretending like they don't exist? Like I don't exist? Like we don't exist? Let's have a baby. What? Her eyes brighten and she looks up at me, waiting for my reaction. I can't help it. My face lights up and I grin back at her. Are you serious? Are you sure you're really ready? After everything that, well, happened, I thought you'd never want to have kids. I examine her face for any indication that would betray the words coming out of her mouth. I had always hoped that she'd want to have children, but I had accepted that that day might never come, given what happened to her. What happened to her? Spill a tea. Yes, she nods, and I think she means it. I let out a laugh mixed with a cry, and I kiss her. I can't contain my excitement. My hands are all over her, and her hands all over me. My lips move down her neck. I pull her black tank top off and kiss every square inch of her breast and torso. I look up at her, and she smiles as I remove her panties. It's getting frisky, y'all. If you're under 18, get out. Oh my god, I kiss and lick and suck until she finishes, and then I find my way inside. She pants and moans beneath me, her eyes locked on mine, big and full of hope. I love you, Sarah. I love you too, Adam. And then I explode inside her. I'm going to be a father, I think. A single tear rose from my eye as I collapsed on top of her, breathless and hopeful. I can't do this to her. I have to end it with Kelly. Sarah is my wife, my family, my whole heart. She's done nothing but love me, even when it's at a distance. She has loved me. I roll off but stay lying next to her. I rub her stomach gently. Sarah is the mother of my unborn child. She deserves more, and I'm going to give that to her. Thank you, I whisper. She kisses my forehead and wraps her arms around me, hugging me tightly. I want this for us. I want what you want. She closes her eyes and slowly falls back asleep, cradled in my arms. Well, that took a turn. That took a turn, girlie. Okay, you guys, and that was chapter 3 and 4. The first chapter was not that great, so I was like, I don't know. Was that other chapter just a one-hit wonder? But chapter 4 was good. I felt like my true crime brain was like going off with chapter 4. Like, I don't know, when he like touched her phone to like turn the alarm on for her, I was like, okay, fingerprints, stop touching stuff. And then when he what was it? When he was like touching her and he was like, it's wetter than usual, I was like, cause it's blood. Like, she's literally not alive anymore. And then he wiped his pants with the blood, and I was like, okay, he's obviously gonna see it like before he gets home. But then he didn't turn on any lights. Like, he said specifically, like, I didn't turn on any lights. So I'm like, okay, he's not gonna see the blood. And he just got home, and then as soon as he got home, he like took his clothes off and like didn't look. Which, nasty that you like did it with your wife right after doing it with your mistress, and I don't think he took a shower. Like, that's dirty. But anyway, y'all, I'm like, my true crime brain is like going off. Like, I'm excited to see where this goes, but and I'll see you in my next one.